Green screening is the process of changing some part of an image to alpha 0 so that you can substitute some other image. Within green screening in general, there are 4 ways to approach the problem of figuring it out. Within those 4, the first one I'd like to cover is difference, and that's taking the difference between an image and some other color or other image. So with our 2 input nodes, let's go to our textures directory under images and load up image 250, and down here let's load up image number, that frame 001, because I want to start out showing you a simple mix and then get a little more complicated with the fancier matte nodes. Now here we have the image of me standing here in my blue Smurfy shirt in front of an image that is exactly the same. So these images are very similar, except the difference is in one I'm standing here, and the other you can see part of the couch. Now just for fun, let's go ahead and add in a color mix node. And you're probably familiar with this node. This node takes an image from the top socket and mixes it with an image from the bottom socket. So let's go ahead and thread our 2 images like this and set the factor to 1. And the mix node, which you may not know, has over a dozen different mixing modes. Let's select the difference mode, and what this mode does is it says, where is this image different from the other image? And as you can see here, what it does is it comes here and it says, okay, for this pixel here, how is this pixel different from this one here? And it's like there's no difference, so no difference is black. And so now we have a great little special effect of, and this is a video, and when you do this to the video, and I encourage you to do it to the video by changing this just to the movie and loading in that magic movie that's on your CD, and you'll see me walking in as if I am a sort of a, I don't know, made of glass kind of a thing. That's the difference mix node, and since this background is black, now you can start to use the other compositing, the other matte nodes, to recognize this black and turn this black to an alpha. And then you can put this background, you can change this background, and that's the general idea with all of the green screening, is generally speaking you change the background to something and put them on a space station or put them in the middle of a volcano or whatever. So that's the mix node. The other node that provides a difference is the matte difference key, and this is a little fancier node that takes an image and compares the image to a color and says, where is the image different from this single color? And then what you do with that then is, once it's different, it automatically takes the colors that are the same and turns them to alpha 0. So you can pick your key color down here, and what's really nice in all of these applets is this little sampler guy, and when you click him it changes to an eyedropper. So I can just come over here to my shirt and pick a color. And now in my viewer I can control how much of this color matches, and it will be turned to alpha 0. Now you recall our hue, saturation, and value color channel discussion, and this stands for the hue variance, or tolerance, saturation, and value. So the hues, no, it's not going to be a perfect hue, so it needs some sort of variance there, and 0.1 is a pretty good little variance. Let's see if you can start to see here. I'm going to have to add my header so that I show alpha values in the UV image editor. I don't know if I covered this before, but here now you can see wherever it's black I am starting to have an alpha of 0. This button here says it draws the image, but it also draws the alpha across a checkered background. So as I expand the value, that no matter how much of that blue I have, I'm going to turn it to alpha 0. And the saturation, let's do it like about 0.3. Alright, so now within this range of blue hue from as 0.1, now this is from 0 to 1, remember that's scaled from 0 to 1 in our color band. So blue pixels within this image will be turned alpha 0. So you can see that my shirt has basically now gone away. And what we're left is the rest of the picture, because in the rest of this picture, conveniently, there isn't any blue. If this was a green shirt, I'd have to look at the outline, but I don't think there was any green in here either. But that's why when you do green screening, you want to make sure that you don't wear any green, because the green background of the screen and the green shirt or your green buttons or whatever will also turn alpha, and then it'll look like you have holes in yourself, just like I showed you in the mask tutorial. So these are two uses, two different ways to do differences of images. And now that you have this alpha 0, you can use the AlphaOver to go ahead and change and make whatever color you want, and make me wear a parrot t-shirt or any kind of design. And you'll see here too, the matte output is a black and white image that is alpha 1, but it's black and white, so you can use the color ramp to convert it to whatever. Now if we wanted to feed this into a node, let's go ahead and add an AlphaOver node. And you recall that AlphaOver will take a background image, and second image is transparent, it will add it over. So it's a little bit reversed from what we're getting out here. If I wanted to turn my shirt, for example, green, or I wanted to, well, let's make my whole body invisible. Let's go ahead and hook it up and see what happens here, okay? Let's take the background image, foreground image, and the matte, use the matte as the factor. Thread this up to our viewer, and look what we get. Now because the factor, this mask, is white here, we're going to use the second image, but where the image is black, which is where it's 0, we're going to use the foreground image, which is this, which is still transparent. So now what we have is a talking shirt, a disembodied talking shirt. Pretty cool. But that's not, let's see, what else can we do? We can switch this matte, and I'm running out of time, so let me really quickly add in your converter color ramp node. And what we want to do is swap the matte. So with this black selected, we'll change this to white. And with the white selected, change that to black. When I thread my matte through the color ramp, I will get a reversed mask. See, now you see it's 0 and white. So now when I use this output as my factor, from the image output of the color ramp to the factor input of the AlphaOver, and thread my two images, my processed image against my background image, now, and I eliminate that, I've got an extra thread there. Now what I'm going to do is cross these so that now I have what I wanted, which was wherever the matte is black, I use the background image. Wherever the matte is white, I use this sort of foreground image, if you will. And because it's alpha 0, the background shows through, and I get now me just as a talking head with no body. So you can do all sorts of things like this, certain different kind of mix effects. Using this difference key, you can key on luminance and the UV values. You can key on the YCBCR color channels, whichever color channels best suit your application. If you're on a green channel, then you would probably want to use the RGB and set the green value pretty high, and then that will suck out all of the green value. Have fun with the differences.